make these super cute kawaii inspired pen pots. Gosh, we love them. They are adorable. So come on, let's take a look and see how they're made. To make your pen pots, you will need a juice or milk carton, a bit like this. A little bit of paper to help you come up with your pattern. Obviously some paint. I've got acrylic paint here in different colours. I've just got the white one out, but later we'll use other colours too. Maybe a Sharpie for some details, and then scissors, pencil and ruler. The first thing you want to do is you want to create like a little template. Now you don't have to do this. I just find it easier because it means that I won't make any mistakes in terms of my little drawing, or like where I put the ears and stuff. So if you measure across, my bottle is 7.5 centimeters roughly. So I'm roughly going to draw 7.5 centimeters up because I want to I want my box to look square. So 7.5, like so. And then I'm going to draw across. So this is just making like a little pattern that we can then use later as well. And I want to do a fox. So I'm going to just find the center, which is about here. Is that the center? 7.5 is, no, it's not. I got that a bit wrong. 7.5 is about here, the center. There we go. And then I want to have one fox ear here and one fox ear here. Then you cut that out. Keep this though, because you'll use it later as well. Doesn't have to be neat cutting. But this is the bit you do first. So first you create your template, so to speak, and then you can spend a while decorating it. You can do several of these. You can do like 5 of these and just decorate them in different ways until you come up with a design that you like best. Because that basically saves you a bit of time later. Then you take your carton and you mark it. I'm going to use a pencil because I've used marker pens before, and then when you paint over it, the marker pen still shines through. So as always, learn from me. So that looks like it's going to be a nice fox. I'm going to just do these lines here, like so. So it needs to be a straight line. There we go, great. Now I'm going to cut this as neatly as possible because I want to use this for another project, which is going to be coming here on Red Head Art soon as well. Now you need some sharp scissors, or you need like a Stanley knife. That's really good. That gives you a nice neat edge because this will be slightly crinkled. That's why I start at the side or the back. Cut it. There's going to be a bit of liquid inside there. And then you cut round. And you can cut into... Ooh, got water everywhere. Let's just do this carefully. Now, like I say, I want to keep the top bit. I don't want to cut too much of the top bit because I want to have another project for that. This is me being uber thrifty. Of course you can cut into this and just throw it away. But there was loads of water in it from when I'd cleaned it. So we're going to have to dry that up in a minute. Ah, big wet patch. Then you cut down here. Cut down here. Yeah, because you want to really rinse your bottles out first. I should have said that because you don't want apple juice all over your work surface. Water is fine. So here you've got your basic shape. Now I'm going to go and paint it. So right, so I've decided, even though I'm doing a fox which has orange and white on it, I'm just going to paint all of it white. And the reason I want to do that is because actually whatever paint you use, whether it's acrylics or enamels or paint mixed with glue, because that's also something you can use if you don't have acrylics, because the glue will help it stick, you will probably need 2 layers for it to not show. So I've decided that even though I'm going to do orange over the top, I might as well have the bottom layer as white, and then yeah, basically add a second layer. So because you see already, you can see the kind of the print showing through a little bit. So you will need 2 layers, so you need to let it dry and then come back to it, which is also why you need a surface to put it down on.
where it doesn't matter if you get a bit of paint on it. I'll do the edges in a minute. And like I say, you need 2 layers at least, sometimes even a third, but I think 2 should be enough. Now, if you've noticed, I'm doing all the brain stroke brushes in the same direction. That's to give it a neater finish. You could actually use spray paint, but and that would look really nice, actually, very neat. But I find spray paint quite expensive. And also spray paint has got lots of aerosols, which are bad for the environment and also bad for you. So if you use spray paint, you'd have to do it outdoors. So I think this paint's the best. Or enamels are quite good. There we go. Let that dry. Now whilst that's drying, it's going to take a little while. I'm going to just show you how you create your own template. Put that over here. So I've got my little cutout, and then I'm going to now have a think about what I want my fox to look like. So I've already thought about this before, obviously. So I'm going to go to about, I don't know, is this 2/3 of the way up? About here, 2/3, and here's the sort of center. So here's the, I'm going to do a curve here, and I'm going to do a curve here. Now the reason why this is good to do this first is because sometimes when you draw straight onto the box, you can get either a bit nervous, you can make a little mistake. So this is kind of helps you make sure that you're okay, and then you kind of check whether you also like the design you're coming up with. Actually, I'm going to do the kawaii kind of eyes. Like so, do a little nose and a little, and then I'm going to have little cheeks, I think, but I'll decide about that at the end. And then just to check that you really do like the look of it, I'm going to just colour it in and see what it looks like when it's orange. It doesn't have to be fully coloured. There you go. It's a bit wet now, so maybe make sure that this comes down to here. There we go. So now I've got a little template. What you can do is later, for when it's dry, you cut this out. And when it's dry, you'll put it on your box and you can use it to guide you. So then you know where to do the orange bits. But we'll do that in a bit once it's all dried. So this is now dry. It's time for my next colour. So remember we drew the little picture, and I've cut out the shape. That gives me a rough idea of where I need to colour. Now don't draw too hard, because depending on your paint, sometimes you can still see the pen mark or pencil mark. So I'm just going to do a rough outline of where my fox will go, and then I'm going to start painting. Oh, this is a nice brand called Studio by Pibeo, and it's like a little bit shiny, and I think it's quite fun. But obviously any orange will do, or you could have a red fox, doesn't have to be orange, or you can mix your own orange by using red and yellow. So, you know, just see what you've got. I might have to get a second paintbrush actually, just to get into that detail. To be honest, you know, I did it all white first. I probably should have done it all orange, because I realised that the back and the sides of this fox will actually be orange. But the white is a really good basis, so it doesn't matter too much. Let's see. You might need to get a smaller brush. But see how you get on. It's really handy to use a kind of the stencil that you've made, because then you'll get the paint right, and you'll like the final design. There we go. So we're going to let that dry, and then once it's dry, we'll come back, and with a black pen we'll add the details. Now, I don't actually think mine's super straight, but you know what? Doesn't matter. I think it's still cute. So anyway, let's come back in a minute and finish, well, not in a minute, but you know, we'll let this dry and finish off the details. So we're ready for the last bit. Our little fox is dry. I've got my stencil or my design, so I'm going to just use that as a guide to add a little nose here. Let's see if my other black pen's a bit better. Sometimes if you use marker pens on paint, they kind of go a bit flat. So it's a little nose, little mouth. Now I want to put an eye around here, I think. Like so. And then the other eye will have to go here. Sometimes I find the lining up of everything at the end the hardest thing to do. Here we go. Isn't that adorable? I also want it to have little black tips on its ears. I'm going to get my pink pen and add some little cheeks. And there you have your DIY Juice Carton Kawaii Pen Pots. Done! Ta-da! Isn't that adorable? Now, come and watch again at the end where we show you the lovely little images of our little pen pots. Here's the panda one again. I decided to make it quite a low face, but like with the fox, I sketched it out first and had a little go. We had different goes to see what we liked. So do sketch it out, and if it helps you, cut out little shapes and put them on top to find the exact place of where you want to put things, alright? So anyway, so these are it. Like, comment, subscribe, and of course we'll see you here again soon. Bye!